my driver's license back. It took about 10 days, which they said it would, to get my new driver's license. And let's see the photo. There she is. I think it's quite cute. I was glad I went with my hair up. I think that looks nice. I'm happy with it. I thought, since I'm showing you that, I'd talk a little bit about getting your driver's license in New Zealand. Since I think I got my learner's license as soon as I could, so you just had to sit like a theory test, and then you'd get your learner's license. So that meant you could drive, but only with another fully licensed driver, so your mum or your dad or whoever. So once you've had your learner's license for 6 months, you can go on to your restricted license, but you've got to sit a practical test. Once you sit the practical test and you pass, you can then drive by yourself, but only during certain hours, so daylight hours. And you can have passengers, but they've got to be either your family or someone else who's held their full license for 2 years. So that gives you 18 months on your restricted, or 12 months if you sit a defensive driving course. So those 18 months, you just need to be practicing. I don't think there's any hours on it. I know some countries do, you've got to do a certain amount of logged hours. In New Zealand, it's just time. So once 18 months or 12 months has passed, you sit your practical driving test. And if you pass that, you have your full license and you're set to go. One of the weird things though, and I don't know how this works in other countries, is I set my restricted license in an automatic vehicle. So I didn't need to learn how to use a manual vehicle. I set my restricted in a automatic, but once you get your license, your full license, you can drive a manual and you can drive an automatic. I was a late bloomer. I got my learner's license at 15 as soon as I could, but then I was sat on that for ages and ages and ages, and I don't think I got my restricted license till I was maybe 23. And then after that, I sat on my restricted license until I was about 28. And I never actually sat my full license test because I'd moved to Australia, and in Australia, you could take your restricted license into their licensing authority and they'd give you a full license. So I didn't even have to sit my full license test at all. Went over there, handed my card over, and they gave me a full license back to use in Australia. Came back to New Zealand and they just swapped it out for a full New Zealand license. I kind of skipped a few steps, but it all worked out, and I'm a safe driver, so we don't need to be worrying about that. I still can't drive a manual car. I've had a few lessons here and there, and I haven't been able to get a grasp of it. And I always think, oh my gosh, what happens if I'm in a situation and the only way I can get out is by driving a manual vehicle, and I'm not going to be able to. I'll be completely screwed. So I do kind of feel like I should eventually learn how to drive a manual car, but so many vehicles now are automatic. What are the licensing laws like where you are? It'll be interesting to hear what the differences are. I think in New Zealand it feels about right. I think the process that it takes from the age 16, getting your learner's license, through to when you would have your full license is about 2 years, which feels about right. Anyway, that was just a quick update on my driver's license. Let's have a look at it again one more time. There she is. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.